Welcome back to Arches. Oh, okay. I don't think I have much to say this time. Think, yeah, I think I'll just load into this. Of course, I'm trying to record this. I'm trying to record Arches specifically as fast as I can because I'm pretty sure this is like such a short novel. I think it's best if I like savor in the moment, savor in or savor. Yeah, it's best if I like take in as much as I can in such a short amount of time. I think that's how I'm gonna get like the most emotional impact of this novel. Anyways, I remember Cam crashed Dev's car. They not got lost in the forest. They walked in the forest to try searching for signal. Dev contacted Artie to basically come here, and now they're waiting for Artie to come. I'm assuming Artie is just a nickname for Arturo, because that's the other name that I saw in like the teaser images or the trailer images on the page. Anyway, Cameron sits on the trunk of the Jeep, legs hanging out over the edge, dangling toward the ground that's further away than usual due to the tilt. Meanwhile, he fiddles with his old acoustic guitar that had been stashed in the Jeep for at least a year, tuning it slowly. He hadn't even remembered it was there until they'd folded down the seats for a place to try and sleep. He last played it at Devon's parents' house because they wanted to hear him perform, and he just left it there in the Jeep afterwards. He hadn't had a reason to play it since. The rest of the night, or early morning really, hadn't been terrible. Dev was easily comfortable on the hard surface, not at all different from his side of the mattress, which was rock hard compared to Cameron's much squishier foam. He had tossed and turned until Dev finally pulled him in to lay his head on the bear's stomach, the soft, warm surface enough to lull Cameron into a dozing state of consciousness while Dev snored loudly. He'd gotten used to the snoring after all these years, and now found it comforting rather than annoying. It was a good night, considering the circumstances. Dev had been unsure about sleeping in a tilted Jeep at all because it gave him a bad feeling. He also had a bad feeling about Cameron going back to the motel with him, so he'd left him here alone while the bear gathered up the rest of their stuff. 5 hours had passed since Artie texted Devon, so the bear had been getting antsy about that as well. They'd had a bit of an argument, and Cameron only agreed to stay behind when Dev promised not to go back to that forest to text Artie again. Now Cameron sits there moping and Now Cameron sits there moping, the feeling of a lopsided relationship returning. I suck at guitar. He mumbles to himself quietly out of habit, knowing people didn't like hearing it since he was good enough, which had been his goal. All of his singer-songwriter idols played guitar, and he'd wanted to be just like them. He'd forced himself to learn how to become good enough, with all the awkward fingerings, the constant tuning, and the pain of holding down steel strings with his finger pads, even after he built up calluses. That's how he described guitar in general, a pain. He preferred piano, and that's what he used to write all of his music. But the devastatingly sad men of the 90s Northwest indie music scene didn't play piano, they played guitar, because they were also rugged and tough, molded by the logging towns they originated from. It turns out that one's image is just as important as it is in pop, despite the former trying to convince itself it isn't. So Cameron had tried to conform to that, and in the end, it hadn't mattered. The hours and hours dedicated to learning the instrument through high school and college now felt wasted. Still, the feeling of the instrument is familiar in his paws, even if his fingers are already getting sore. He tries to think of one of one of his less embarrassing songs, one of the ones where he wasn't just wearing the influence of cloudy, dreary northwestern cities on his sleeves, even though that's where he's from. He tried and failed to duplicate their poetic and opaque lyricism. Instead, he found himself slipping back again and again to the style of his own generation. While his idols in the 90s wove lyrics that forced the listener to delve into something complex, to find meaning in the metaphors and symbolism, singer-songwriters born in the 90s, like himself, presented their lyrics in a more literal, honest way that often described specific situations with seemingly nothing hidden. To Cameron, it's two sides of the same coin. Instead of discovering meaning and complexity, it's about discovering complexity and simplicity. He sighs, deciding it's tuned well enough. He glances up, making sure Dev isn't heading back before playing. He's badly out of practice, but he starts to slowly warm up. Cameron sings quietly, almost under his breath. This particular song got the attention of an independent label on the West Coast after one of their scouts heard it on the college radio station. They'd signed him in his junior year of college. Looking back, it was the high point of his life. Dev had celebrated in earnest, happily telling him that he'd make more money than he himself ever would. But what Cameron didn't realize was that even after being signed, he could still be dropped without releasing any of his music. And after what was probably the lowest point in his life, they did just that. Dropped over text message with his agent saying the demos he'd made in studio weren't up to their quality standard. That hurt a lot, because he knew it was true. He'd been nervous the entire time, and his output wasn't even close to what he was capable of. Though he tried to comfort himself with the idea that most musicians go it alone these days. Go it alone? Or do it alone? Go it alone these days, his own postings on the internet barely got more than a few dozen listens. Then he finally realized that he was in it for the wrong reason. His peers just liked playing music, throwing stuff out into the ether, whether anyone heard it or not. Cameron needed an audience to stay motivated, to be famous, so in a way, I fucking deserved it. At least Devon never brought it up. Cameron stops playing, having seen brownish fur out at the corner of his eye. He thinks it's Dev and immediately feels his face flush, freezing and just sitting there. This is why he didn't play or sing in a serious way these days. Now it just feels like showing off a skill that he was never really skilled at in the first place. But after a while, he doesn't hear anything. No voice, no footsteps, and biting through his embarrassment, Cam looks up the road and where he'd been certain that his boyfriend had been watching him. Dev? The silence is heavy and thick. A weird feeling, and everything went real quiet. Cameron stares up at the empty road, the feeling of unease growing until he finally shoves his guitar to the side and pulls out his phone, tapping on a mindless gaming app to distract himself. Nope, not doing this again. Not right now. And even though the road remains empty, and even though the sun shines brightly above, illuminating everything around him, the feeling of what is becoming a very familiar dread continues to grow. Then that light shining down on everything changes, shifting to a more golden glow. What the hell is going on? Cameron had a few bad trips in the past, shrooms being the worst, and that was what gave him his first panic attack. In a way, this feels very similar. Please, not now. I have control, and I'm saying not now. No control. Shit! That voice, all that feeling, it instantly made all the fur on the back of his neck stand up. Cameron starts walking up the road toward Echo just under a mile away. Dev, come back now, please. The panic creeps up his neck like he's drowning. Until last night, he hadn't had a panic attack in over 2 years. Now it's like his brain has relearned the spiraling process of gasping for air that's readily available, but still feels out of reach. He fights the urge, counting, trying to remember the pace of Dev's steady breaths. Hadn't he wanted to reject the idea that he needed Dev to face his fears? Doesn't he know how to handle this? How to do it safely? Cameron also knows that running to Dev will only make things worse for his boyfriend. Did he want to stress him out even more? The coyote stops, then turns around slowly. Just like that, the feelings of panic and terror slowly fade away to be replaced by a feeling of purpose. Something solid. Something resolute in its existence. Something that's already happened. Nothing can be done to change it. A feeling of acceptance. Cameron's walk slows to a more measured pace, mirroring someone just outside of his view. In another place? No, in this exact same place, just in a different time. Cameron knows what's happening, and he questions what he's about to do, but with his new feeling of calm assuredness, the coyote decides to let it happen. Dev didn't want him doing this because he had a change of heart, but so is Cameron, and this is his choice to make. So he lets it happen, and he senses this person. A girl, a feline, walking just like him, years and years ago. She tries to keep her sobs quiet, walking along the road by the lake. She'd been looking forward to this for 2 months. She'd saved up money from babysitting jobs to buy her own dress, her own fake jewelry, and her makeup. Her father had found the makeup a week ago and threw it away, telling her only bad things happen to girls who wore makeup. Is this a different girl? Do we know this girl? Is this Heather? This can't be Heather. Even then, she still had the dance to look forward to. But now, James, her ex from last year, had ruined it. Okay, I don't think we know this person. He'd shown up drunk, proposed to her, then cussed out her new boyfriend, whom she'd only been seeing for a month now, until he left. At least now she's glad she doesn't have the makeup on with how wet her eyes are. This had been the last dance of the year at Echo High, and she's worried she's going to graduate with no boyfriend at all, and no money to go anywhere. Lost in her thoughts, she notices fast, pounding footsteps only seconds before it happens. She sees James as it happens. She realizes what's happening in that same moment. Knowing him, this is actually something she expected. In that moment, she decides that maybe this is for the best. Cameron? Lost in the vision, Cameron feels himself recoil from something touching him. Cameron loses his balance, windmilling his arms comically, and he has a split second to recognize Dev. The bear has his paw out, like he'd been resting on the coyote's arm. The look of shock is mirrored on his boyfriend's face, before he goes over the edge and straight into the lake. Cameron! The coyote expects to go under, and stay under, just like the girl from Echo High School. But a jolt goes through his body, and his rear lands on a rocky surface, just a foot underwater, and Cameron cries out loudly. Fuck! Cameron looks up to see Dev getting ready to jump in. Or to see Dev getting ready to jump in. I'm fine. At first, Cameron is just embarrassed, like he got caught doing something he shouldn't, which he knows is the case in Dev's mind. It's not as deep as it used to be. What? As he climbs out with Dev's help, though, that embarrassment changes to anger. The coyote grunts and snarls quietly as he automatically starts stripping off his clothes, his plaid shirt and jeans sticking to his soggy fur. Dev hovers over him, trying to help but mostly getting in the way. Dev, we have a list of people who died here, right? What? What are you talking about? You just fell into the lake. Stop talking about this shitty town and let me make sure you're... Oh, that's real rich coming from you. You've been saying that to you. Shit, sorry. Why did I see? I've been saying that to you for the past 5 years, and here we are. So no, I won't stop. Give me the list or I'll just look it up myself. Dev glares, making himself look big, but Cameron doesn't budge, even though that in that moment he realizes his phone got wet, and he can only hope it's still going to work after this. After a few seconds, the bear deflates. Please, I just want to get out of here. I'll do whatever you want afterwards. Let's just go home first. That cools Cameron's outrage for the time being, never having seen Dev look so defeated. We'll go home, and I'm sorry I'm being like this, but you have to understand that this is changing everything for me, and I just need this for a little bit, okay? Okay, but I'm not leaving your side until we get out of this town, okay? Didn't I tell you this was a bad idea at the very start? Cameron tries to lighten the mood a bit, not liking the conflicts they're having on this little trip. They hardly had any time before coming here. Now they have such different ideas of what they should be doing. It's like they're in a tug of war. Dev takes out his phone, bringing up the document he had been using to map out the supernatural happenings and history of Echo. So, it was a girl, teenager, a bobcat from, like, the 50s, I think? A student from Echo High School. Okay, so it's not Heather. I mean, it didn't look like Heather, but still. Dev raises his brows, scrolling slowly on his phone. Then he looks back up. Yeah. June 1954. An 18-year-old bobcat drowns in the lake in what is thought to be a suicide. So the fucker got away with it. Who? How did your tail feel, by the way? Dev is running his paw through his tail, feeling out the vertebrae. Cameron finds the bear's disinterest in all of this more and more irritating, especially now that he's found what feels like his purpose. He can help, somehow. Dev hits a bruised spot on his tail, and the coyote winces before shoving his paw away. Ow! Not now, Dev! Listen, her ex-boyfriend killed her. I saw him run up and push her into the lake. Did you have to experience that? Do you feel okay? Dev, I'm not important here. This is about someone who got murdered and some piece of shit that got away with it. First of all, don't call yourself unimportant. You're still alive, and you need to keep it that way by not falling into lakes because of these awful visions. I need to tell her family, or at least someone, so people know the truth. Dev frowns deeply at the coyote. Listen, babe, I know you can see things that I can't and all, but I gotta be honest and say that no one's gonna care. They're dead. The girl, and more than likely, her ex too. That's short-sighted as hell, Dev. Or as hell? That's short-sighted. Shit, I can't read today. That's short-sighted as all hell, Dev. He could definitely still be alive, having lived a full life after murdering someone. And she might have 2 siblings who are still alive, or I don't know. I think someone probably gives enough of a shit to want to know. And then what? You go up to them and tell them you're psychic and you had a vision of their loved one being murdered? Besides, I wouldn't be surprised if everyone knew what happened. A lot of the times they do, and there just isn't always enough evidence. Cameron feels his face get hot, glaring at the asphalt. You wanted me to do this. You wanted answers. Why are you holding me back now? Because I'm terrified right now! Shit, sorry. That irritated my throat. Fuck. Shit, I'm about to fucking cough. Sorry. Of this town? Of the ghosts? And you getting hurt somehow because of the rate things are going? That's what's probably gonna happen. I want to know where Lupita is, but she died because I made stupid mistakes. I can't have the same thing happen with you. She died because I made stupid mistakes. What the fuck? Who's Lupita then? Do we know? Because I thought she was Cameron's mother, but no, it seems like that's not the case now. You died because I made stupid mistakes. Huh. Cameron's face gets hot again as he realizes Dev is about to cry, and his resolve wavers. He starts to step forward to hold Dev like the bear had held the coyote so many times, but then the two of them look up to see a rather small sedan pulling up the road, a figure inside waving enthusiastically through the windshield. What the hell? Where's his truck? Devin, Cameron, sorry I'm late. I had trouble finding this road. Then I had trouble driving on it. Did I catch you in the middle of something? Where the hell is your truck? Huh? Look at my Jeep. I told you I was stuck, man. Well, this is not the reunion I was expecting. I thought you just wanted a ride. Besides, even if I pulled you out, your Jeep's fucked. I can tell from here. Be nice, Dev. He's doing us a favor. Hey, Cam. Hey, Artie. I fell in the lake, so that's why I'm half naked right now. That's hilarious. Did you push him in, Devin? Already makes me feel like I'm back in college. Oh my god. Hey, are you guys ghost hunting? Can I join before we head out? Nope. Why not? Because we're done. Dev, we can probably walk around a little bit before we go. He went on a really long drive. What? Devin sounds incredulous, and Cameron can understand why, but despite what the bear said moments ago, he still wanted to explore further. Cameron knows that once he leaves, he'll probably never come back to this place again. Damn, Dev. Did the two of you switch places or something? Anyway, I agree with Cam. I gotta stretch my legs out a bit. Devin looks down at Cameron, apparently at a loss for words. Cameron can't meet his gaze, so he just looks down the road, toward Echo, toward the place that he's positive has more answers to all his questions. He needs this. Devin sighs as he watches Artie squat down behind his Jeep, examining the wheels balanced above the cracked and dusty asphalt. Shit! How'd you manage to do this? Looks like you literally drove straight off the road. Devin sighs deeply as he stands next to Cameron, practically fantasizing about getting into the beat-up sedan and escaping this hellish town. We're so close to getting out of here, and the bear just wishes he could pick them both up and toss them into the car. Sure, he could technically do that if he wanted to, but that, obviously, isn't a reality. He just knows that goes against Cameron's wishes right now. To go against Cameron's wishes right now would be devastating to the coyote and their relationship. All he can do is ride this out and hope that they'll be on their way within the hour. Devin notices a silence after Artie's question, and the cat is looking up expectantly. Not wanting Cameron to be put on spot, the bear clears his throat. We thought we saw something on the road and swerved. It was probably just a boulder or something. Artie looks back at the road, where there definitely isn't a boulder. Dev sees Cameron rub an arm self-consciously out of the corner of his eye. was in the middle of the night, so shadows and shit. Huh. Trying to imagine you overreacting like that, Dev. Glad you guys are okay though. Must have been rough looking at how deep the tires went. It was. Hey, how long do you need to recharge for the drive? I can take the wheel if you're too worn out. Right after you crash your own car? It was in the middle of the night! Hey, I'm just playing, dude. Chill. Artie raises a brow at the bear, glancing at Cameron. You guys alright? It kind of feels like I walked in on a fight or something. Dev massages just above his eyes with a thumb and middle finger. No, I'm just really tired, man. We were up most of the night. Artie then looks to Cameron, waiting for a response from the coyote. Dev tries not to bristle at the implication that Cameron might have a different response. Yeah, we're just tired. I think walking around a little bit would do us all some good. Oh yeah! Like last time we went ghost hunting with Dev, it was real spooky, even though we didn't see anything. One of my top 10 highs, in fact. Highs? He's tripping on weed the whole time. Artie jogs back to his car. I got some oil cartridges from the dispensary on the way here. You guys want to hit? Dev's stomach turns as he watches Artie grab a vape pen from the passenger seat. Nah, we're good, man. I don't know if it's a good idea for you to do that and drive, anyway. Are you high right now, actually? No! And I'll have come down by the time we're done looking around. Devon can't manage to say anything more before Artie takes a deep, long pull from the pen. A red light on the tip pulsing to life in time with his intake of breath. How do you know if I'm good? Cameron's voice is so low, Dev almost doesn't hear it. What was that, honey? You just said we're good without even asking me. Devon doesn't know what to say anyway, because Cam just doesn't do drugs. Because Cam just doesn't do drugs. The coyote would even joke that he's straight edge. I just thought. Dev struggles for words as Artie looks at Cameron, then Devon, then back again as he continues to hold in the vapor he inhaled. Anyway, I don't mind taking a hit, if that's okay with you, Artie. Artie exhales loudly and holds out the pen to Cameron. Yeah, of course, dude. Dev stares incredulously, disbelief building until he can't hold it back. Cameron, what are you doing? Artie looks at Dev with wide eyes, but Cameron only spares him a glance before plucking the pen from Artie's paw and taking a deep pull from it. Dev stares at the pulsing red light, then at Cameron's face, whose eyes are closed. Dev can't tell what Cameron's thinking right now, but whatever it is, Devon knows that this isn't the behavior of the coyote he's gotten to know over the years. It's juvenile, and Cameron is usually more mature than the bear when it comes to stuff like this. Okay, I'll just play along like everything's fine between you two. Either way, maybe we should just go. Dev feels his chest loosen a bit with relief at hearing those words, and hearing some sense from someone other than himself, but Cameron frowns and opens his mouth. Instead of words, he begins to cough explosively into his elbow, seemingly unable to catch his breath. Hey, you all right? Cameron walks over to Cameron, rubbing his neck. Yeah, that's normal, especially with a big hit like that. You handle your weed pretty good? He doesn't smoke weed, dude. That's why I assumed. I smoked plenty back in high school. Never hit one of these, though. Cameron seems to be catching his breath, finally. That's harsh as fuck. Like, worse than a blunt. Get used to it. You get used to it. Besides, you only need a hit a few times to get high. Should I take another, then? No, you shouldn't. Cameron narrows his eyes at Dev. Why are you acting like this, Dev? It's just marijuana. I never complain when you drink. Because this isn't like you at all, Cameron. Dev had been holding the conversation back from becoming personal, if only because Artie is here. But at this point, he can't stop himself. He's starting to wonder if all of this goes deeper than he'd like to think. The awkward silence that follows, Artie quietly takes the pen from Cameron. Well, I think one hit is good for now, especially if this is your first time smoking in a while. Let's see how you feel in 20 minutes. He pauses and tilts the pen in his paw towards Devon. You sure you're good? I know we only got high together a few times, but I don't want you to feel left out. No, it's not my thing. Devon looks at Cameron. You told me back in college that it wasn't your thing either. That's the only reason why I said we're good. Sorry, man. No problem. It's just been a while, so why not have a go, right? Oh. I thought, I assumed Dev knew that Cameron would smoke back in high school. Maybe. Shit. I'm trying to remember if Dev was there. Wait, when did Cameron's mom die? Was he a college student at that point in time, or was he young? He said he was taking ketamine at one point in his life. By ketamine, probably abusing it, not prescribed anyway. Sorry, I'll have a think on that later. Dev sighs loudly and folds his arms, shaking his head in resignation. I guess so. Artie quietly takes another hit off the pen before tossing it back into the car. If it makes you feel better. Artie puffs out his cheek as he lets out his breath. Shit's a lot safer than alcohol, or most any drug, really. Oh, spare me, dude. I'm not in the mood for stoner talk right now. It's true. I think it's physically impossible to overdose on it. That's not the point, Cam. It's more mentally fucky, you know? Artie shrugs. It depends on the person. I think Cameron's old enough to know what's good for him. Artie keeps his tone light, but Devon feels himself actually bristle at that. It's like he's being made out to be a controlling boyfriend, so the bear just looks away in frustration. It doesn't matter what the cat thinks. While Artie was a good friend in college, he didn't know all that much about Devon and Cameron's relationship, or Cameron's past. The bear knows his coyote, and this isn't like Cameron at all. He just hopes that whatever it is that's going on with his boyfriend will stop when they leave the town. Cameron stares across the lake, noticing how the light blue of the water almost perfectly reflects the blue of the sky. Is that why lakes are blue? Because they're just a reflection of what's above? And that's why it becomes dark and murky when the weather is cloudy? Oh shit, that's crazy. The seemingly profound realization is what makes Cameron suddenly realize that he's very, very high. At first, Cameron finds it funny and he laughs out loud, only to stumble over nothing as his limbs suddenly feel intensely heavy. Whoa. What was suddenly funny becomes somewhat alarming, and the coyote's giggling dies away almost instantly. Cameron quickly walks back to the road where Dev and Artie are, trying not to look like his legs are both 50 pounds heavier. But it doesn't help that his jeans are still a bit damp, the feeling of the soggy denim on his fur incredibly unpleasant. Damn, is this after like only one hit? And he's really high? Shit. Just a minute ago, he'd walked to the shore to put his clothes back on, and everything had been fine. Now he's in a different world. He leans back against the car, folding his arms, trying to ignore the intensifying gravity. Shit, my bad. Why haven't they moved at all? Why haven't they moved at all? Did he say? Fuck. He's never been this high before. His 16-year-old self would be able to handle this no problem, but the shroom trip he went through sometime during junior year had ruined most reality distorting drugs for him. Even when he smoked the cheap, weak bud his plants provided through high school, he would still come close to freaking out. But he always had an oxy back in those days to calm himself down, or at least whatever benzo he managed to steal from his mom's medicine cabinet. Now, there's nothing between him and feeling like time and reality are completely fucked. Permanently fucked? Like how shrooms permanently fucked his sense of self? Can weed do that? Stop, you stupid fucking idiot. Stop psyching yourself out and man the fuck up. Dev had been right, of course. What the fuck was he thinking? Well, he knows what it is he'd been thinking. While he'd made a fuss about Dev answering for him, in reality, it had been a spur-of-the-moment decision. Because when Artie offered the pen, he remembered that seeing things always became easier when he was high. It wasn't really a positive part of being high, but if he's going to be doing some psychic shit, maybe he should experiment more with it. He feels very different about it now. Weed seemed like a good, harmless way to test an experiment 10 minutes ago. But now Cameron is questioning if weed even triggered supernatural stuff for him in the first place. He was always on other stuff whenever he smoked weed, after all. Opioids, stimulants, dissociatives, and definitely hallucinogens like shrooms did the trick, but for obvious reasons, he's never going to try those things again. He just needs to relax and be aware if something happens. Oh yeah, he's blazed. Cameron opens his eyes, looking toward Artie in confusion. Huh? Babe, you alright? The coyote looks at the bear, still confused. What's wrong? I just asked if you were feeling okay. You were totally spaced out. Artie, just stop freaking him out. Everything's fine, alright, Cameron? I'm fine! It's you acting like something's wrong that's freaking me out right now. We are kind of being buzzkills, Devon. Got water? Let's get him a drink. Devon takes Cameron's paw. Sorry, let's get water, okay, honey? Seeing Dev transition from frustrated to concern immediately makes Cameron feel better. While he'd acted rebellious to somewhat disguise his intentions, he doesn't actually want the bear to be mad at him. He'll explain to Devon later why he did this if it actually ends up working. Just telling him right now, with Artie right there, would be way too complicated for his brain right now. Drugs hold a lot of baggage for him, like they would for any former addict, and Cameron doesn't doubt that Dev is not pleased in the slightest with what he's doing right now. For now, he squeezes Devon's paw on his own, and smiles as the bear squeezes back. Cameron giggles. Holy shit, I've never been this high before, and that was a single mouth hit. Oil cartridges are insane. Yeah, I swear, it gets more potent every year. I'm not surprised it knocked you on your ass. Cameron vacantly watches Dev climb into the rear of the Jeep, grabbing their plastic bottles and one of the gallon jugs of water. How long is the come up? Am I gonna get more high? Only if you take another hit. You want to? Dev looks up from unpacking their food and water, biting his lip, but Cameron shakes his head. Nah, I'm good. Just wondering. So just relax. You'll start coming down within an hour. That sounds good. One time I did shrooms and I was stuck in it for 8 hours. Felt like forever. Like literally forever. Ugh, no thanks. That shit freaks me out. I'm not into stuff like that changes you for good, you know? Yeah, it definitely changed me. And not in a good way. I mean, some people change for the better, but others kind of end up mentally fucked up. And that was me. No shit. What'd it do? Just the idea that a few nasty tasting mushrooms can just change your entire... Shit, excuse me. Just the idea that a few nasty tasting mushrooms can change your entire universe makes everything feel fake, I guess. Like, everything that makes us who we are, our brain signals or whatever, can be so easily manipulated. You realize nothing's real, and for my friends, that was something that actually motivated them to be better people. For me, I just cared less and less. The weed is making him open up about things he normally wouldn't, and the coyote isn't sure if that's a good thing. Sure, it opened up my mind, and no one ever tells you that you can't close it when you're done. You can't ever close it. I should have listened when they told me I needed to be in a good place for it to have a good impact on me. I wasn't in a good place at all. The stress of the past day, on top of remembering that traumatic event, makes Cameron's eyes well up. Probably also because of the weed. Hey, dude, you okay? Tears spill over, and now he's truly crying. Despite knowing it must look ridiculous, it feels meaningful and poignant. A good cry. It doesn't make it any less embarrassing. Devon, with an expression both worried and exasperated, pauses in his rummaging for water and food to rub Cameron's arm and kiss the side of his head. Sorry, I thought this would help me see ghosts. I don't even know why I did this. I wasn't bad at you at all. Devon studies Cameron closely for a moment, and Cameron's blood runs cold at the thought of that, for whatever reason. What he just said is fucked up enough to make Devon question why he's with the crazy canine in the first place. But Dev quickly goes on as if Cameron didn't say anything. Sit down and have some water, honey. He holds up a green plastic bottle filled with water, and Cameron drinks from it loudly. And food. Devon pushes a bag of jerky along with a box of cheese crackers towards Cameron. Why is Devon so nice when he's such a dick? Thanks, Devon. I'm sorry I'm such a piece of shit. What? Honey, where did that come from? I know that's something you wouldn't say, but I'd rather you tell me when I'm being awful. I don't want to go back to the way I was. It's quiet for a moment. Wow, it's got you that fucked up, huh? That's all you gotta say, Artie. Dev doesn't sound angry at Artie anymore, much to Cameron's relief. Just very tired. Still, it's all pretty standard stuff, especially when you got low tolerance. I'm not trying to be a dick when I say that I'm actually a little jealous. Correct me if I'm wrong, Cam, but it looks cathartic as hell. You're not being a dick. It's just not a smart thing to say right now, Arturo. Damn, using his name, his actual name this time. Hart's right. I feel really in touch with my feelings right now, and Cameron absent-mindedly shoves a cracker into his muzzle and stops. The salty, savory flavor is so satisfying he has to use all of his focus to appreciate it. Fuck, that's good. Arturo laughs. Cameron shoves a strip of jerky that's lightly seasoned with hot sauce into his mouth, combining the flavors as he moans again. Devon sighs in a defeated but accepting sort of way. That makes Cam feel even better, that even though he did something stupid, Devon seems to understand. Hey, let me in on some of that. Alright, but eat slow. The food is for survival, not for your munchies. We'll be out of here by noon, Dev. Relax. Devon sighs as he leans up against the tailgate, covering his face with his paws, then grunts with annoyance as he has to move to let Artie by. Trust me, I'm trying. Oh. Fucking poor Devon. Seeming to disregard Devon's advice to take it slow, Artie starts cramming jerky into his muzzle, moaning like Cameron. Your snacks are so much better when you're high versus like an actual meal, you know? Cameron doesn't know, but nods enthusiastically. I can't believe this. Devon's tone is one of actual disbelief. Arturo glances lazily at Cameron. Is Devon being a fucking Nazi about everything new? Or have you been putting up with this for a while? It's weird after knowing how he acted in college. Cameron leans against the tailgate, smiling at Devon. I've been doing some dangerous shit during our investigation, and Dev is just trying to keep us safe. He's wonderful and I love him. Devon looks at him and just gives him a small smile without saying anything. Oh, you gonna let me on what's going on between you two? Because I think we can all admit that it's been super awkward so far. Hasn't it though? This must be fucking weird for you. They both laugh at and the obnoxious snorts that Cameron makes only makes him snort louder. It's just not really something that you need to know about. I know that sounds rude, but I'm psychic. Dev's eyes widen, and Cameron doesn't help to fill the silence that follows. Huh? Like you can see the future, or I can see ghosts and maybe the future. I don't really know how it works. I'm trying to figure it out. Cameron hadn't really thought about it much, but haven't given it much thought, but seeing the future seemed to be part of it. Dude, that's fucking awesome. Devon shifts around and Cameron can tell he's not exactly happy about him talking to Artie about this. He has to wonder why. Shit, I think my aunt was super psychic. Super psychic? As opposed to what? Sorta psychic? Nah, she had like tarot cards and shit sorry, I need to reread this. Nah, she had like tarot cards and shit and told half my siblings that were up to shady shit that the cartel was gonna disappear them. Well, did they get disappeared? I mean, one died after routine surgery, but the cartel wasn't involved, as far as I know. That's so sad. Sorry, I don't know why I laughed. It's cool, I get it. So not really psychic, or at least not like himself. It feels wrong to him, but Cameron feels almost dismissive of anyone that doesn't see things like he does. He's different in a good way, and for once he feels like he can admit that. He'd seen his friend's death a few months before it happened, and he had dreams that were so accurate to the point that it seemed almost like deja vu. I was gonna go for a walk. Everything looks really neat right now. Dope! Let's go see some ghosts! Devon sighs heavily again, but helps Cameron down from the trunk, the coyote leaning against him as they start walking. At this point, Devon has resigned himself to the fact that Cameron is going to do what he wants, and all Devon can do is respect his decision. While Artie reminding him more than once that Cameron as an adult had been annoying, it's also true that Devon has no right to take that decision away from Cameron. Still, there's a part of him that's hurt that Cameron would disregard his own feelings on the matter, especially after opening up to him by the lake. But Devon also disregarded Cameron's feelings when bringing him here, at least to an extent that the bear had thought was reasonable. Now it seems like he's reaping what he sowed. Still, Devon remembers and brings up something that would keep them from venturing too far into the town. We should only go as far as the motel. Cam and I had a brush with some gun-toting redneck near the other side of town last night. Whoa, really? Cameron giggles. One yelled at us from really far away, and Dev ran so hard he got a gnarly cramp in his thigh. Again, he had a shotgun. Doesn't that bother you guys? Artie? Artie shrugs. I've had guys flash their guns at me on the road because I flipped them off. Every one of them is too chicken shit to shoot. And this was even when I flew the old Azuli Blanco on my car. Well, luckily for you, people here don't know what that is. Now, if I were to mount a Sonoran flag on my Jeep while also flipping the bird, Anyway, I say we stick around this area, no further than the motel. You should be more careful though, Artie. I swear I heard a road rage story every few months where someone gets shot. Honestly, Cam, if that's my fork in the road, I say let it happen. You gotta live, and that involves getting shot on a freeway because you made fun of someone's driving, then so be it. Is it really a fork in the road if the other option is death? Yeah, one of the roads just leads to a dead end or something. I don't know. I'm high as hell right now. I think the metaphor is more appropriate for longer term consequences, though. Sorry, I'm just thinking. I'm sure every state says this, but I don't know. Me, because I'm biased. I live in Arizona, actually. And, of course, Echo takes place in Arizona. It's said that Arizonas have one of the worst fucking drivers. The worst fucking drivers. Hey, I can't compare that. But, like, I swear, every single fucking person I hear on the internet, or at least people who live on Arizona, because, you know, I'm in a big fucking echo chamber right now. Pun not intended. They always complain about how shitty the drivers in Arizona are. So hey, it's kind of funny. Devon just smirched at the meaningless banter about fork in the road metaphors that must seem so profound to them right now. You know, my mom always talks about her fork in the road being the 5th grade, and that led to her having a shitty life. Seems kind of young to have a decision like that come up. I think she just likes to be able to point at a moment everything went wrong. But anyway, they'd been hyping up the space shuttle launch for months, and she decided she was going to be an astronaut. She went to the public library for the first time in her life to check out books about astrophysics and stuff. Definitely has a good idea of where this is going. Then, while the whole class was watching the liftoff live on TV, it exploded. And even though her teacher turned it off and went about the day like nothing happened, they all knew those astronauts were dead. It made her question all her plans that she drifted through her life after that, not knowing what she wanted to be anymore. Damn, that's fucked up, man. Do you know why that happened, by the way? Cameron gives Dev a confused look, and so does Artie. Like, they forgot he's even there. When my mom didn't know what to do, because she watched the clips of smiling, waving astronauts getting on a space shuttle that then exploded live on TV, Devon. Devon sighs, realizing he needs to make things more clear for this high version of Cameron. No, I mean why that space shuttle exploded. Because rockets and fuel can cause explosions, right? No. Well, yeah, but mainly. Dev refocuses his train of thought. It's because they didn't listen to their engineers. You know, the people that stand between you and the pancake shopping mall, or a freeway bridge collapsing during rush hour, or an exploding space shuttle. Dev raises his brows meaningfully at Cameron, though weirdly enough, he realizes he's mainly talking to himself. Always listen to your engineer. He's trying to point Cameron towards Dev's direction. I see. I see. Smart. His half-assed attempt at making the conversation about listening to his advice quickly backfires, though. Well, if those engineers were the ones that were like the ones at Pueblo, I'm willing to bet more people would have listened to them if they didn't act like such know-it-all pricks. Someone's still sore from having to drop out of their major. Fuck you, too. Hey, come on, guys. We're feeling good right now. You know, Artie, I've dated an engineer for 5 years now. They gotta talk down to you to do their job. Cameron walks against Devon and playfully nudges him with a shoulder. Even though Cameron is playing along with what Devon started, hearing his boyfriend say that actually stings a little bit. Babe, I don't talk down to you. I don't mean to, anyway. Arturo makes a face, and Dev does his best to pretend like he doesn't see it. Hey, I'm just kidding. I agree with you. If people let disasters happen because they're too proud to listen to experts, then fuck them. Maybe if they had, my mom would be on the space station right now. Maybe. Mistakes happen, though. They remind us to keep our guard up, because it always slips eventually, you know? I think they do. Dev smiles, pleasantly surprised that Cameron seems to be heeding his advice to be careful. For the first time in a day, he finds himself starting to relax a little. The end of this bizarre nightmare is in sight. They're already starting to circle back around to the car. You know, it's kind of amazing to think about how you two are still together. That brings Dev out of his reverie rather quickly. Why's that? Well, all our other friends didn't last more than a few years out of college. And if you think about it, you and Cam are probably the biggest opposites out of all those relationships. I think the most important thing in a relationship is getting along. If you can do that for 99% of the time, you're probably set. That and having different hobbies and spending time apart adds to a healthy relationship. Man, sometimes you sound like a self-help relationship book or something. Maybe that's why. I just think that we're both reasonable people. That's usually all you need. Well, I'm really happy it worked out. It all worked out, especially after your first relationship. Honestly, looking back, I was basically setting Cam up to be your rebound. I wasn't really meaning to, of course. You know, I forgot you somehow managed to always say the wrong thing at the wrong time, Marty. Well, it's been a long time, so I'm interested. I wonder who you were with before me. All you said is that they were like a month-long fling. Artie seems to take this as a go-ahead to reveal irrelevant and embarrassing information about Dev's previous love life. He was a fox named Jesus, right, Devin? I never brought him up because the relationship lasted literally 2 months. A fox, huh? A fox named Jesus. Cameron says it in a contemplative way, in a way that makes Devin uneasy, even though the coyote is probably just truly curious. Still, Devin has to wonder if Cam is now suspecting he has a canine fetish or something. What? Well, yeah, it was short, but when he dumped Dev, he went the full chick flick route and laid in bed for a week eating ice cream. I was so worried about him that I set the two of you up. Devin's muzzle burns under the fur, even hotter than the heat of the desert. Why did I ever tell you anything in confidence? Well, it's more like I saw it, like the entire dorm did. Is that true, Devin? To Devin's dismay, Cameron sounds genuinely interested now, combined with a genuine degree of concern. You seem so put together when I first met you. Dev avoids answering. It wasn't you that set us up. You mentioned me to your girlfriend's friend, who happened to be Cameron's friend. She set us up. Yeah, you can word it how you like. But if I didn't remember them mentioning that super hot guitar coyote, too bad he's gay, dude. Who knows where you'd be now? Yeah, that's me. And less than a week later, I knew it worked out. I knew it worked because I walked in on the two of you fucking. Oh God, why you bring that up? Yeah, why? Because it was funny. Besides, I walked in on a dozen people going at it at some point. Hell, back when the university library was open 24/7, you had a 50-50 chance of walking in on a pair of rats getting in on it at 2 a.m. in one of the back rooms. Arturo prattles on to Cameron while Devin sulks behind a bit. The bear finds himself wishing he'd been the one to tell Cameron about all of that. The way Artie described it made him sound unstable in a way. The fox had been cute, but Devin never really got to know him before Jesus abruptly broke it off. When he first met Cameron, on the other hand, He was cute and hot, especially with his guitar and voice. But that was just the surface stuff. Cameron was also nice and considerate, and thoughtful and complex in ways that the bear is still trying to fully understand. Devon had girlfriends in high school, so people wouldn't get suspicious, but the fox had been what he considered his first real relationship, and he'd simply overreacted to his first real breakup. Looking back on his 19-year-old self, it's hard to understand why it felt like the end of the world. If Cameron were to disappear from his life now, it would be the end of the world. It would be the end of the world that he knows at least. Maybe, if for some terrible reason it did come to an end, he would look back 10 years from now and think about the same about his 25-year-old self, but he doubts that. 5 years is a long time, and he plans to spend the rest of his life with Cameron. Unlike that fling in college, losing Cameron would be a traumatic, life-changing disaster. Just thinking about it now makes his throat tighten. The abyss he's felt below his feet since he was 12, that emotional scar left over from the last traumatic event in his life, seems to yawn a bit wider. The bear thinks back to the point he'd been trying to make about engineers helping to avoid catastrophic failures, and why it felt like he had been talking to himself. There's a moment in which recovery is impossible, where a chain reaction of small disasters are set off that then mushroom into a tragedy. Maybe he'd been reminding himself about what could happen, or maybe he's realizing something that's already happened. Why does it feel like he's already past that point? The point where he made a decision at the literal fork that set in motion a cascade of failures. The fork being taking Cameron to Echo. Like the narrator said, a good boyfriend would have driven out before they entered Echo, but Dev didn't listen to his own thoughts. I think he was thinking about like taking him back, you know. There's no reason for him to feel that way considering they're minutes away from leaving, but it feels hopeless now. He ignored all the signs and he turned right. Ignored all the signs. Just like all those officials who ignored signs from their department stores, bridges, dams, and spaceships. At least until everything fell apart. Time passes quickly, and bantering with Artie and Devon had made Cameron forget what he was trying to do in the first place. He wonders if maybe that had been Devon's goal. He should be keeping his mind open, not covering up potential spirits with loud, obnoxious laughs as they reminisce about their college days. Because right now he's feeling something that he can't explain. Because right now he's feeling something strange that he can't explain. All right, ready to head out? Man, we didn't even find anything scary. You don't look for scary things, you let them happen. Nothing happened, so Cameron can't leave now. Hey, Dev, please don't be mad at me. Dev doesn't say anything, and that makes Cameron squirm. Are you guys gonna fight again? Can I have 5 minutes alone, please? No. Just 5 minutes, I swear, and we'll be done. Cameron! I can feel something. I don't know what, but you guys are making it hard to hear. Cameron, the motel is right there. I'm not leaving you here. Dev's tone is so resolute, so unshaken, that Cameron shrinks into himself, realizing he's reached Dev's limit. Artie clears his throat. Not to butt in, but how about this? Me and Dev stand at the end of the road over there so we can see you, and then we can make sure nothing bad happens. Please, Dev, I just really need to figure out figure something out, and it's gonna bother me forever if I don't. Please. Dev is clearly taken aback by Cameron's intensity, which had been Cameron's intention. Something is wrong, and he needs to confirm it. Is what you're doing safe? Could it hurt you? I don't know. I don't think so. It has more to do with me than ghosts, though. Dev doesn't say anything for several seconds, seeming to be weighing multiple scenarios in his head. Okay, we'll be up the road. Please be careful and yell if you need us. Okay, thank you. Dev kisses Cameron on the head for a long moment before walking away up the road. Artie looks back and forth, confused before following Dev. Alone now, Cameron can tell that something is definitely different. He can't put his finger on it, but it's not just him being residually high. It's almost like he can see more clearly. Like he can see more. Meaning in nothing. Cameron isn't sure what to think about this. The weed is making it happen, though. Just like he hoped it would. But it's weak. He can hear the voices of those who have passed, just barely playing along the wind. For just a fraction of a second, he thinks of trying opioids just once more, and how that would truly help him see things. The thought leaves him feeling physically repulsed to the point that he almost retches, the visceral reaction surprising even him. 3 years of substance abuse, the death of his mother, the deaths of his friends. He vividly remembers those 2 weeks when he quit cold turkey. Hiding away in his friend's basement, in a pool of sweat, shaking, having every bathroom issue possible, wanting to rip through his fur and skin, to run into the street, to run into a car. He cried constantly. He hated himself. He was worthless. He needed to die. He had to die. But at the end of those 2 weeks, he'd made it. It was hard, but like his friends would always tell him, withdrawals aren't the hard part. The hard part is finding pills in a friend, or a relative's medicine cabinet months, even years later. The hard part is crushing those pills up into neat little lines of powder, staring at them, telling yourself you don't need it. You don't have to do it, but you do it. You always do it. No matter how many times you get clean. Someone like Cameron needed something else to keep him clean. And that's Devon, because the shame and heartache of Devon finding out wouldn't ever be worth it. But knowing this moment, any moment, can be far better with a single pill. Unfortunately, that feeling will always be there. And so, this is stupid, and he won't touch drugs again, not even weed. The window. Oh! Jesus Christ, that scared the shit out of him. What the fuck? At first, Cameron is surprised. Is only surprised. This is something he hadn't seen in months. Not since October of last year. He's seen this before. Like, he's had this vision before. Like, not like this vision was, but like having like a third-person vision. What the fuck? But still, he kind of hoped this would happen. This creature, this manifestation, is somehow connected to his abilities. He always thought it to be mental illness. But now that he knows there's something more to all of this, maybe it's a sign, a harbinger of sorts that might lead him to important visions. Still, something about it is especially unsettling this time. Something is wrong. Something is different, and it's more than just the raincoat monster appearing. Dude, actually, what the fuck is that? I didn't even notice that claw. What the hell? Arches and half circles. His train of thought cuts off as he notices a barely discernible movement from the creature. Aside from a handful of moments in the past that felt like glitches more than anything else, the creature never moved. It was always like a cardboard cutout. It's no longer cardboard, though. It's breathing. What's happening? He's not thinking right. This thing isn't a part of Echo. Cameron knows that. So why is it acting different, more alive, as if the town is amplifying it? So what is this creature? Is this the socket man, or is this something else? Sorry. Maybe it's just the setting, his nerves, the weed. But now he's realizing how strange it is that he's been so relieved to find out he's psychic. Doesn't he have problems? It's not like all those issues were just solved. Are those the voices of the dead or something else? Are those ghosts or hallucinations? Is there a difference? Suddenly, a whole new wave of anxiety washes over the canine. And just like that, he's not sure about anything anymore. He'd had such a beautiful, life-changing epiphany, and now he looks up the road toward where Dev and Artie are, but they're not there, and Cameron stares, wondering what's real anymore. He looks back at the monster standing in that window. I swear to God, please don't do that sudden perspective change. Don't scare the shit out of me. If it is a harbinger of something important, he should go into that room. Otherwise, he'll just leave there knowing he's crazy, knowing he's on the verge of a fucking psychotic break. Damn it. What am I doing? And then he's moving for the window, for that monster, the whispers growing and the distortions twisting. Dude, I'm fucking scared. Please, stop. Oh my God, what the fuck? Down the road? Oh. Devon watches his boyfriend in the distance carefully, feeling his anxiety come down a bit as Cameron just seems to stand there. So, what's the deal, man? You know what I'm talking about. What happened? Did you see some fucked up shit earlier? Because you seem really, really worried. For a moment, Devon is glad Artie cuts himself off, but then... Hey! What the fuck? Ah! Artie is already running up the road towards his car. Bruh, is he getting, like, fucking hijacked? Devon looks and sees a man standing next to the car, the hood up. Devon isn't sure what to do at first, either go to Cameron or follow Artie. Cameron seems oblivious in the distance, which is probably for the best, and it doesn't look like the man is carrying any sort of weapon, so deciding his friend is gonna need help, he runs after Artie. Ooh, shit, bad timing. I mean, it kind of makes sense. Maybe, because if Artie is also kind of like high out of his mind right now, he's probably gonna need more. It's more of a priority for Dev since he's sober. Dev runs up to the car just as the old weasel-looking man headbutts Artie in the face. Duke? Hello? Ah, fuck! Son of a bitch! Artie stumbles and falls on his ass. Hey! Duke, what's up? My homie, my home slice. The weasel regards him coolly, seemingly not bothered by the fact that he just used his own face as a battering ram. Hey. Dev doesn't know what to say, mostly because he doesn't know why the guy just did what he did. Meanwhile, Artie moans on the ground, a paw to his forehead. At least gives Dev a starting point. How old is Duke, by the way? He seemed really old in fucking Echo. How old is he now? If it's 5 years later. You can't just fucking do that, man. What are you doing? Adjusting things. He shows off a pair of pliers. Devon can hear his heart pounding in his ears as he sees a toolbox balanced on the bumper. Why? Give me that! Devon starts to step forward to take the pliers from the man, but a flash of light blinds him. Damn. Dev had never been hit before, not as an adult at least. His size usually deterred anyone from trying anything, and he normally didn't get into those kinds of situations anyway. So this moment takes what feels like a long time for his brain to process. He stumbles on his feet, paws uselessly outstretched, trying to refocus one. Something explodes in his stomach that seems to expand like a balloon under his ribcage. The bear doubles open in shock, feeling like a vacuum has opened up in his torso before he falls to his knees. The long, strained sound of agony seems to go on forever as his diaphragm refuses to work. Only now does he realize he's been punched in the stomach as well, and while he's had the wind knocked out of him before, it's nothing like this.
How was that, fat ass?
I don't know how to do Duke's voice.
How was that, fat ass? How was that, fat ass?
Sorry, still trying to figure things out. This is a serious moment. Dev goes on droning in response, a part of him considering that he might actually suffocate to death.
Holy hell, man! What the fuck is your problem? Oh, you want to know?
Devon, still with his face towards the ground, only hears movement above him, but that's followed by a gasp from Artie.
I have a problem with sick fucks like you dicking around this place because you think it's funny.
Dev is only now starting to get his breath back, but his eyes are locked on the gun in his face, and his insides turn to water, which has nothing to do with the punch.
Where were you 5 years ago, huh? Back home with mommy and daddy, living in your middle-class houses. Now you'd come out and see what the crazy meth heads are up to, how they all killed each other.
The man adjusts his grip on the gun, and Dev almost chokes with fear. Either the old man is going to shoot him, or he's going to do it on accident.
Is this still fun?
Artie's rough breathing next to Devon is the only thing that lets the bear know that the cat is still there with him.
Dude, listen, we didn't mean... You listen, dude. I gave you assholes a whole fucking day to get the fuck out, but you're still here. Since you're so goddamn comfortable, hope you don't mind being stuck here for good.
Was that Duke in the forest? With that, the man turns away, sticking his gun down his pants before calmly collecting his tools, closing the toolbox, and walking off the road, straight through the sagebrush.
Holy shit. It's a 9-mile walk to the freeway. I'll suggest you leave the moment before it gets cool. And that's friendly advice. There's much worse out there than me, you stupid fucks.
Artie bends over Devon, who slowly stumbles to his feet, hunched over his stomach aching for far worse than his muzzle, which he wipes clean of blood.
Fuck, man. What did he do?
Artie looks back to the car, and even from here, Dev can see wiring sticking out from the hood.
I can't fucking believe this!
Hang on, I'm getting Cam.
Shit. Alright, man. I'll see if this thing is even worth coming back for.
Devon jogs off the road, grunting with each step, each one sending a jolt through his stomach. While the weasel hadn't moved in his direction, Dev isn't taking chances. He also needs to make sure the coyote is.
Cameron?
He shouldn't be panicking, not yet. But that feeling is starting up again, and having a gun pointed to his face.
Cameron!
No answer. Dev heaves for air, looking around until he sees a flash of flannel through a motel window. He was next to it in a second, unable to fit, so he pries back boards with his bare paws. That one. Then he pushes through and tumbles into thick darkness. Despite having seen this monster come form? Despite having seen this monster in some form or another over 15 years now, Cameron realizes he never really tried to move towards it. In the beginning, he tried to run away, of course, but it ended up following him. It never moved when he was looking at it, but the second he looked away and back again, it would reappear closer, usually at that 20 to 30 foot distance. When he learned to ignore it, it sort of blended into the background, and he almost stopped noticing it. As Cameron squeezes through the boards covering the window, he's only a few feet away from the thing. He realizes that if he makes contact with it, that if it's solid, that he won't know what to think. He's never even considered that it might be real. But now, as those unnaturally long claws dangle from the sleeves of the raincoat, Cameron starts to worry. As he moves, as he moves those last few feet, though, as he moves those last few feet, though, Raincoat Monster starts to dissolve into dim lighting of the room, and the coyote is inside. It happens in a way that makes Cameron think of a mirage. But the creature is still there, now across the room, against the wall, its ever present, deranged grin plastered to its dark furred face. Cameron moves towards it again, slowly this time, the creature still seemingly frozen, but in a way a real person would try to appear frozen. This creature is almost like an imitation of the one he's gotten to know so well, the one that almost became a companion of sorts in his childhood. About halfway across the dark, cluttered motel room, Raincoat Monster bends sideways, almost like it's going to do a cartwheel, toward the bathroom door. Its heavily clawed hands don't move, though. Instead, it just keeps bending like a bridge, like an arch. And then it slips into the darkness of the bathroom. Cameron stares, the feeling of unease growing. Of course, shit like this always makes him feel uneasy. Makes him feel fucking crazy. Dude, have we. This is the first time of his sprite where he's looking straight at the camera. What the fuck? But what just happened now, it felt deliberate, like he's being toyed with somehow. Raincoat Monster had toyed with him plenty of times before, especially the first time he saw it. It was in his own mind doing it was in his own mind doing it. Or it was his own mind doing it after all. But what makes him feel nervous now is that it seems like there's something else behind it. Almost like whatever was behind his first vision in that other motel room is behind this as well. So he should leave, right? Whatever that whatever that is doesn't seem to have any good intentions. It all seems to want to do is fuck with him. Or all it seems to want to do is fuck with him. If it's the same thing that hijacked his first vision, then it could look like anything. It disguised itself as Dev had said awful things to him. Disguised itself. What was that even a disguise? Was it possible Devon somehow made that call? That would be the most plausible explanation, aside from malicious ghosts being real, something he never believed until now. You trust Dev, though? Cameron looks at the boarded window. Why did Artie and Devon abandon him like this? Is this part of Devon's investigation still? Is this a setup of some kind? Like a test? Cameron continues to stand in the middle of the motel room, staring around himself. This isn't right. He's not making sense. These thoughts don't make sense. But there are some connections, and he can't deny that something about the whole situation is off. The voices, the whispering, it continues to ebb and flow, and there's a slight electronic quality to it. It's not impossible that someone could have planted a speaker in this room to make him think he's hearing the voices of ghosts. After all, Devon had been so adamant that he had not come back to the motel with him to gather his equipment. That would have been the perfect opportunity. He tries to listen to them, but they blend together and mumble quietly, and he can't make anything out. If this is a setup, then Raincoat Monster could be a real person. Someone in a costume, or something is wrong. Suddenly, thinking itself is becoming difficult. He's still high after all. But at the same time, things are suddenly making at least some sort of sense. If this is some kind of sick joke, that could explain a lot. A distant chuckle breaks through the hushed whispers. It sounds kind of like Devon. Devon? Dude, I don't like the silence. I swear, don't jump scare me. I swear to God. Cameron points his ears towards the bathroom. Artie? Guys? You can't really be doing this to me, right? His voice is weak, unsure, and afraid. Something creaks to his left. The coyote jumps, staring wide-eyed. Guys? In the back of his mind, Cameron knows that whatever this is, whatever is going inside or outside his mind, is not good. He needs to get out. Suddenly, something starts pulling at the boards of the window. Cameron gasps, stumbling back, an explosion of fear taking over in a way that he's never experienced before.
Cameron, you're in there, right? You okay?
It looks like Devon, but the coyote is moving for the bathroom, because he's not completely sure, and even if that really is Dev. Cameron pulls the door to the bathroom closed and fumbles with the knob until he finds and presses a push lock that somehow still works.
Cameron? Honey, are you in there?
Cameron keeps quiet, pressing his paws to his muzzle, suppressing his instinctual urge to respond.
Cameron!
Cameron listens to the bear's heavy footsteps on the ruined floor. Then the doorknob to the bathroom vibrates violently. Cameron yelps, "Stop! I'm sorry. I need to figure things out right now." There's a pause, one that seems to go on for a very, very long time.
What?
Devon's voice is equal parts confused and concerned.
Baby, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
What happened?
I don't know. Why did you guys leave me?
Leave you? I'm right here.
I looked up the road and you were just gone.
Oh, Cameron, something happened. It's a little complicated, but I can tell you about it on the way out. I'm sorry I left when I said I'd watch you, but we need to go right now.
Something happened. It's a little complicated.
Cameron, please open the door.
Devon lets out a nervous laugh.
You're freaking me the fuck out right now, honey.
That only puts Cameron more on edge. Now Devon thinks he's the one that's acting strange.
You're freaking me the fuck out. Why did you even bring me here? Is Artie there too?
After another long, horrible pause, when Dev talks again, his tone has changed completely, like he's being very careful with his words. Like Cameron is crazy.
Honey, can you tell me what's wrong? Did something happen?
You tell me, Devon.
You're really starting to worry me, baby.
Devon's voice cracks. Cameron doesn't know what to say. He doesn't have to think of what to say, because at that point, something rakes painfully down his back. It's like a giant red set of claws, and Cameron gasps and screams as another set of claws grip over the top of his head. He's completely forgotten about Raincoat Monster, but even if he remembered, he never thought he would touch him, or could touch him.
Cameron, open the door! Open... God damn it. Stand back, Cam!
The air seems to explode as the flimsy motel bathroom door splinters with ease, Dev having kicked it in. With some light filling the bathroom now, Cameron sees that he's fighting with nothing. He thought it had to be Artie. Suddenly, the bear is grabbing him, trying to hold him or pin him, and Cameron just struggles, trying to pull away.
Cameron, what happened? Please, calm down. Just let me go.
Cameron is crying now, and he's making him gasp for air.
Let's breathe, Cam.
Oh, stop doing this to me. Just let me go.
Doing what to you? What happened?
I don't know. I don't fucking know. Cameron struggles become more wild, kicking out and fighting with Dev's much stronger grip.
What the fuck?
Dev seems to say it to himself, almost in a whisper, as if unable to believe what's happening. Cameron isn't able to either. None of this is real, is it?
Huh?
Did you set this up to make me believe or something?
What? How would I do that?
Speakers or costumes? I don't know. Ow! You're hurting me. Devon lets Cameron go finally, though he tries to hold on to him to make him look at the bear. But Cameron takes the opportunity to escape, running right for the window. Much easier to get through after Dev's entry. Cameron! I'm sorry. I just need to think. Cameron can hear Devon crying now, but he can't stop. He needs to get out. He needs to get away. He falls clumsily through the window, and as he stands up, he gasps as he comes to face with Artie. Suddenly, he notices how the color of his fur is to Raincoat Monster. How similar the color of his fur. I mean, he said it was slightly red. I guess I can kind of see it. Maybe with the lighting. Whoa, dude. Are you okay? What's going on? I can hear you guys yelling all the way. Artie trails off as Cameron backs away from the cat, keeping him in view until he can run away, off the road, to someone that's not there. Dev sobs as he fumbles to get out of the window, wondering if he's dreaming. This can't be happening. He looks around the parking lot, but all he sees is Artie. Where did he go? Artie points wordlessly and Devon jogs up the length of the parking lot to look around the motel. Cameron is nowhere in sight. Devon stares for a while, hoping to see Cameron pop up from behind one of the dilapidated structures, but he doesn't. Devon, what happened? Something's wrong with Cameron. I know. He looked totally freaked out. Did that meth head get to him too or something? Oh, I don't know. He's not making sense. He's not thinking right. What do you mean? Devon takes a deep, shuddering breath, still staring, realizing Cam might have already made it to the dirt road off Main Street. Devon rubs his face vigorously with both paws. He said something about us setting him up. Setting him up? For what? I don't know. It's like he's not in his right state of mind or something. Devon stops himself from saying completely lost it, because that just sounds wrong. Seeing no sign of Cameron, Devon suddenly feels panic bloom in his chest. What if Cameron is so far gone that he's gone running off into the desert? He would die. Shit! Are you sure he ran this way? Dev starts walking quickly up the road, looking at each abandoned structure, scanning the desert landscape all the while. His panic has settled into a dull, persistent feeling of dread, and his crying is mostly under control, just sniffling every now and then. Artie follows behind him. Yeah, positive, man. He was running, though. Shit. Hey, he just looked really emotional. Doesn't he have panic attacks? Yeah, but that wasn't just a panic attack. Something else is going on. Has he done this before? No. Isn't he on medication? No, man, he's not on medication. But wasn't he? Dude, this isn't helping anything right now. Sorry, it's just that I remember him telling me he was on an antipsychotic back in college. Devon's blood runs cold. It was just like antidepressants or something. Why would he even tell you? Cameron? Dev's voice echoes hollowly up the street, unanswered. He was on both, I'm pretty sure. He was talking to Maria about it since he's been on a bunch of them for her bipolar disorder. I think he was just looking for advice on how to deal with the side effects, and I was a psych major, so there's that. Were you? Cameron! Duh. I was a failed STEM major. Behavioral sciences are the next step. Despite that being something Artie might normally say, it sounds forced, like he's trying to keep the mood light. All Devon can think about right now is how he can even been bothered to know what medications his boyfriend was taking and why. He just knew that they made him feel like shit. So, when Cameron said he just wanted to stop whatever it was he was taking, Devon encouraged him, and Cameron seemed happier after that. Anyway, I'm not saying he's like schizophrenic. Antipsychotics can be combined with antidepressants for just plain old depression sometimes. That's true.
I think he's just panicking a little. I probably would if I went into that motel alone. No. Cameron was panicking, sure, but he was accusing Devon of setting him up, of tricking him. Cameron didn't trust him, and that's something Devon has never seen before. And remember, with his tolerance, he's probably still pretty high. Could just be paranoid. Devon gasps, and Arturo stares at him. Frozen, then rage and horror explodes in Devon's chest. The fucking weed! Whoa, what happened? You fucking know he has problems, was on medications in college, and you just let him get stoned? Artie stares. Well, I didn't remember until just now, and besides, if that's what's making him freak out, it's gonna wear off. No! He said I was tricking him! He didn't trust me, Artie. He said I was planting fucking speakers so he'd hear voices. Artie continues to stare, but doesn't say anything this time. Devon does his best to avoid saying what he thinks is happening. That's not just panic, that's more than that. Fuck, man! His mom died because of this shit. What if he's wandering off into the middle of the desert right now and... When he had researched psychosis, he came across plenty of stories just like this. The way so many of them ended. Devon feels like he's about to throw up. After a few seconds of silence, Artie clears his throat. Listen, we don't know anything yet, but if I caused this to happen, I'm sorry. Either way, I'm gonna help you find your man, okay? It's only been 5 minutes. Devon starts to calm down a bit, breathing more evenly. Like I said, my girlfriend is bipolar, and even though I know it's not exactly the same, she's had moments like this too, and we always come out alright. And so how about we look for 20, maybe 30 minutes? I'm sure we'll find him. If we don't, though, I'm probably gonna run my ass back up the road until I get cell service and call 911. Alright. Dev takes a shuddering breath. Yeah, okay. Let's go. Okay, I'm ending this right there. Oh, man. Shit. My thoughts about this so far. I think it's I think it's well known, or at least in my opinion, how music degrees don't have much value in like the real world. Right. How can I explain this so much? Like Cameron, he's been stuck this all throughout his life doing music because supposedly he wants attention, he wants fame, right? I think because with his mother's being like so exhausted from work, not being able to take care of him properly, being neglected all through that, all he has is music to stand out. And sure, he majored in something he's good at, somewhat. He majored in something that he's somewhat good at. But, of course, he's not happy. Because he assumed he could get big with his song, and when the label dropped him, he's just gonna spiral into some more empty shit. And like, because Cameron's career as a musician failed, he's basically worthless in his eyes. He has nothing. He has no other talent. That's just what I assume, because, of course, again, there's not much you can do with a music degree, right? If you're like a failed artist, and maybe being around, Dev, him being a mechanical engineering major, I think he probably feels even more stupid, even more dumb. And maybe he feels guilty for thinking of
thinking of Devon as a distraction to his problems. But man, they're both kind of doing shitty stuff. So after, of course, being a failed musician, he's trying to look for other ways he can get attention. He's trying to look for ways he can help people. And now, obviously, with this whole psychic shit, he believes he can help people by speaking to the dead or giving people closure or whatever. And, you know, and then, of course, Devon, he's so guilty in all this because the fork in the road to be the good boyfriend or to indulge in his own self pleasures. He chose to indulge in his own self interest, knowing deeply what Cameron needs or what Cameron can't handle. He still chose to, go to Echo, visit the motel, and do all that shit. And he's trying so desperately to correct his mistakes. He really wants to correct everything, but it's a whole fucking mess between Devon and Cameron. And I can't properly articulate this. It's a much needed what's the word? Conflict to help their love bloom, right? It'd probably be like ups and downs mostly on Cameron's end with his mental issues, and Dev has always been there to support him. But with Dev seeing how Cameron was treating him in the motel bathroom, how saying like he was being set up, like as if he was setting up for betrayal, or like probably mocking him or making fun of him. That really scared Dev so much into actually crying, which really, that hits. That kind of hits hard. So, again, I don't have much to say other than shit. This is fuck. I love and hate how emotional this is. I know they're both what 26, 25 years old, or at least at least Devon is 26. It's still kind of like rough love. Not rough love, just young love, that's what I mean. Because yeah, they're adults, but with I keep mixing up their names. Devon's psyche, this is his first real relationship, things that he wanted to get serious. Cameron, I'm not too sure if I don't think he's mentioned any partners in the past. Or wait, I think there was one partner, but it was like kind of abusive. So it's still, I still think of it as kind of like, young love, because they're both in their 20s, still trying to figure shit out. 5 years ago when they started dating. So yeah, big 19, shit. Sorry, I keep rambling for so long. If you've actually watched through my stuttering and stumbling and my fucking annoying tangents, thanks. If you have any other furry visual novel suggestions, be sure to recommend them, because I keep a list for whatever novels to read whenever I'm finished with one. And I guess good night, because it's night for me.